Hello. Hi. Hey, it's Rob. That's right. Day 21 of Swim for Recovery. So we're 21 days in, 21 miles in, 1,386 laps in the pool. And this morning was tough. I got to go to the the doctor today. I think I have an ear infection actually going on. So it was a little harder to swim, that's for sure. So pray for my ear, and the body's feeling good. So all excited about that. But wanted to share today, we're going to talk a little bit about gaming. Had a gambling episode with Arnie Wexler. We're going to have a gaming episode today with Urska Rubin from Slovenia. Pretty cool person. I was interviewing on her podcast show. But so we're going to talk about gaming. So if you have someone that struggles with gaming, video, like screen addiction, all that kind of stuff, pretty fascinating story where she got to a point where she was at 24 hours a day gaming, and she said when she took breaks to go eat or go to the bathroom, so it was like 23 hours a day of gaming. So pretty powerful story, and excited to share that with you. A couple other quick things. I just want to encourage you, please share the post with people, as people can't know about it if they don't hear about it. So please share it with your people, but go to swimforrecovery.com and go check out all the stories on there. They're all posted on there. You can jump aboard the fast moving train, which is exciting, and people that are donating funds to help support lifted programs and help people that are looking for sober living scholarships or counseling needs that we'll be helping people with as those needs come up. So I just want to say thanks a ton. It's been a great journey so far. Again, 21 miles in, 1,386 laps. That's just crazy to even think about for me. So many people reach out and go, man, I can't even swim one lap. Well, I didn't swim all these at one time, but 1 mile a day, 66 laps. So here we go. I'm going to pull up Urska's story and hope you enjoy it. It's really powerful. Pretty cool person. She has a podcast show and some things that she does, which she'll tell you about. But we're going to go ahead and pull her up here, and I'll be back afterwards. So God bless and enjoy. All right, here we are on another swimforrecovery.com recovery story, really. And I'm excited because I was recently on Urska's podcast show as a guest. And, this is something we haven't talked about yet on the Swim for Recovery. We're talking about gaming today. So welcome to the Recovery Story campaign. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for having me.
Heck yeah, I'm excited for it. Excited for your, you got a new podcast out there. What's the name of your podcast show? Tell people real quick.
Captainese, and English is not my native language, so I have problem spelling it. Captainese. There you go.
Perfect. You did awesome. There you go. I love it. I love it. And you're out there making a dent in recovery. But I know we're talking about gaming. So is that the addiction that you have recovered from?
Yes, that is correct. I was addicted to video games.
All right. And what year would you say your freedom year or freedom date is?
Yeah, the day I started living in actual reality as opposed to virtual reality was somewhere in May 2014.
Okay, 2014. And we'll get into that because people aren't thinking like, oh, we're just a sobriety date. Well, it's not. You didn't just stop substances, right? You literally, like you said, left you came into the world of reality instead of the virtual world.
Yes, that's right. That is correct.
And where do you live now?
Now I live in Slovenia.
Okay. All right. Cool. We are across the seas, everybody. This is awesome. And so let's talk a little about gaming, because I know when you interviewed me and we were talking, you had said that gaming had at some point taken up to like 23 hours in your days.
Pretty much 24, yeah. But if you count in the food and my trips to bathroom, it was 23. Yeah. See, I started playing as a teenager, as you do, right? Started with about an hour a day, then it progressed to 2 hours, and then it was 5, and then it was pretty much on from there. I mean, at my lowest point, I was playing 23 hours a day, yes, and I'm definitely not proud of it. And the reason why I graduated from 3 hours to 8 hours and then to 23 hours was because I was actually playing all day, right? And I didn't go to school, so they suspended me. Now, the punishment for not going to school was not being allowed to go to school, which makes a lot of sense, right? That was the best thing ever for me. I was like, wow, I can go full time now. And then I graduated to pretty much playing the whole day. Yeah.
Yeah. So what was your environment like for you to be able to do that with like family life or environment or living situation? What did that look like?
Yeah, so fortunately, I wasn't living alone, which living alone is a blessing when you're an addict, or so you think, right? So I was living with my parents, and at the beginning, they were very busy. They were working all day, both of them. And I was pretty sneaky about it, right? Because they wouldn't even know I'm not going to school, right? So
Yeah.
in their minds, they were like, okay, so she came home from school and her pretty much playing video games all afternoon is a problem, but it's not as big of a problem as it was in reality, because it always is a bigger problem than, people around you believe it is, right? And so it was pretty easy to cover it up. They were at work, and during that time I was playing video games and they thought I was doing productive things.
Yeah, and so when you went from kinda like 1 to 3 to 8 to it progressed, what was it like with, like, physical friends of yours? I know you got your probably your virtual friends that you played games with and stuff, but what was it like with friends along the way?
None existed. Addiction took over everything. It took over all the workouts that I was doing because I was pretty athletic. I stopped doing that. It took away all the friendships. I was left with zero social life. It took away pretty much everything except the virtual reality. Everything just went away, all the potential. And it was very hard to witness that because I could see life slipping away, one step at a time. And at the beginning, it was kind of like, well, you sacrifice something for another. And then at the end, I pretty much just didn't care. I was at that point, that final phase of your addiction cycle where you just don't care anymore. You're like, oh, what the hell, might as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, so what did gaming do for you?
It gave me purpose in a way. I was kind of anxious at that time. And when I was in this virtual reality, I was playing The Sims, which, as some people might know, this is a game where you create your family and you play them and you have their lives, right? So I was living their lives essentially a lot more than I was living my life. Well, I didn't have a life for that matter, but it gave me purpose through these virtual realities, and it took away anxiety. And yeah, at the final phase, if I took away video games, I would be bored in life. I wouldn't do anything, and I'd probably start doing it again.
So what would you say to parents that have kids that are entering into this, addiction and obsession?
Yeah, and it's a bigger slippery slope that you believe it is, because what I notice is that we have a society where everyone gets a trophy. You get a trophy for entering competition, no matter if you win or not. But when it comes to video games, you don't get a trophy. You have to win, right? And human beings, naturally, we are very competitive and we want to win. So if we play a game that is competitive, but no one wins because everyone gets a trophy, it's not going to be interesting. So instead of kids enjoying their games they play in school, instead they go home and they play the actual game where you win and where there's challenges, right? So kids are hungry for challenges, and this is what video games offer, because this is what the society nowadays doesn't offer anymore, right? So we cuddle them a little bit more than we should cuddle them, so it's a larger slippery slope. What I would advise to parents is make sure your kid finds something that is a challenge and that finds something that's gonna fulfill his daily life, which is, I know it sounds very corny because pandemic, but talk to your kid and ask him about his interests and kind of help him pick up something, just something, anything is better than nothing. Just keep him occupied, right? Because he needs to find a purpose. And if it's not going to be there, then video games are right there. And best believe he's going to gravitate to that.
Yeah, well, it's easy. It's at our hands all the time. I mean, when I was a
Yes.
kid, I'm 51 years old, so we had the little put a battery in and play a little football thing, handheld thing. Like that was our entertainment, right? But now it's just you can do whatever the heck you want to do all day, all the time, whenever,
Yeah.
which you obviously experience. So So life got to a point where you're like, all right, something's got to change. So what changed? And then how did you step out of that into a recovery, like a gaming recovery society or whatever that looks like?
Mhm. Sure. So I got sick of it. At what point I was looking at myself, looking at my persona, looking at the identity that I had, and I was just sick of it. Seriously, I wanted to throw up. And I think that the true recovery happens when you have problems with your identity and who you became. If it's someone else forcing you to change, it's not going to work. Like you have to be sick of yourself. Okay. So I was at the point where I got sick of it, hitting the bottom, you could say. And I went about it in a very weird way because I didn't compensate with other activities. I didn't have any therapy. So I did nothing. What I did was I started sitting in silence and peace because I noticed that the addiction is essentially a compensation for a problem that I have with myself, right? So if I take away addiction, that means that all the demons will come up. And they did, trust me, they did.
Mm.
And I sat, it was a sort of a meditation. I sat without the computer, without video games, and I watched what happens to me. And what had happened was all these emotions came up, right? The anxiety, the fear, in a way, the sense of loneliness, everything that I should be dealing with probably years ago, but I used addiction to cover it up, right? So what I did was, metaphorically speaking, I watched demons come up to the surface and I watched them burn, pretty much. I watched them burn and it hurt. It hurt like hell when they burned, trust me. But it was a method that somehow worked.
Mm. Wow, what a unique way to experience that too. And did you have any kind of support around you?
No, no,
Wow, so you
no.
journeyed this, you solo journeyed this.
In my head, it
Yeah,
was like, okay, I got into it myself. I'm going to take myself out of it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So what does the life look like now with kind of your life, what you do, community?
Now it's so freaking awesome because now yeah, you know, I feel like when you're addicted, your dopamine levels are up here, and then when you take addiction away, they drop down there, you know, and it takes a while for your levels to get up here again, right? But now they are up here, and I have a lot of activities going on. I have a podcast. I'm a full-time option trader. So, and I work out, I do boxing, I learn French, I travel a lot, I shoot, I love guns, but anyway. So I have all these things around me that are super cool, and I'm just so excited. I'm like a kid in a candy store. It's like, you know, and people who haven't been addicted don't understand the feeling that you have when you're finally recovered, because it's kind of like coming out of a prison, you know, and everything you do is, I don't know, it's just awesome.
Wow, I felt that from you when you interviewed me. It's just you have this exuberance about you that just carries through the microphone,
Hell
and the
yeah.
screen and everything. And there's obviously a meaning of the picture behind you. So what's that about?
Yeah. Uh Resilience, bravery and resilience. But I bought it after recovery. But now it's, yeah, it's pretty useful. Yeah, you could connect it to the personality and to my journey. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, well, there's so much depth in the eyeball above your head to the right of you, and it's like I look at that, and it's just like looking at you, just hey. I mean, it's speaking to me. It's kind of cool. So,
Yeah.
but I love what you're doing, and I hope people will tap into your podcast show, which is really cool. And you're out there making a difference. You bring an excitement to recovery, and gaming is not something that, again, I've had a lot of guests on before. So we're going to get your whole story on a full episode. This is just for swimforrecovery.com to give people a little bit of taste. And I wouldn't be surprised if people start reaching out to you from this, because I know some people that are kind of in the recovery world, helping people with what you have gone through,
Mhm.
and to learn from what you went through and to share that with other people, and even for you to gain new tools from them and say, hey, here's a way we can do this. So totally say appreciate that a bunch. And we'll definitely catch up with you for a full interview like in October, November, or something like that.
Deal, let's do it. And again, thank you so much for having me on. I'm
Heck
also
yeah.
proud of you.
Yeah, we're mutually proud of each other. That's good stuff. So all right, Cool. And last thing I was gonna tell you, my wife's grandmother is from Sylvania. She was Sylvanian, so there's a little connection there. Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's her name?
She's now passed away. Her name was Bucka. That was her nickname, but her maiden name was Progar, after she got
Progar.
married over here. But I actually forget her. I don't know the answer to that one. I'm gonna have to find out for my wife, and I'll circle back with you.
Yeah. Let me know next time. All right, good.
All right, cool.
Good.
Thanks. All right, talk to you later.
Thank
Bye.
you so much.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
All right, good stuff there. It's fun to talk about gaming, and as interview connected, gonna connect her with a friend of mine, Gina. Gina does a lot of gaming and screen time addictions as well, and probably need to try to have her on for this one for recovery. She can talk about her perspective. So good stuff there. I mean, we're trying to cover a lot of different things. One thing we haven't covered yet is like shopping, sex and porn, and food addiction. So hey, if you're one of those people, reach out to me. God bless. Enjoy your day. Don't forget to go check out the party happening on September 29th here in Colorado and online. So go ahead and register at that domain name right there. And let's see what else. We'll be back tomorrow with day 22, but glad that it worked out today. Thanks for tuning in for sure. And we'll catch you on the flip side. Really appreciate you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.